Welcome back, subscribers. This is Johnny Hopper, and you're watching MX Unfiltered. So, I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to start with the 450s this time. We'll just start off with Sexton. Dude is on fire, leading the crew on the HRC until Roczen gets back. Kenny gave him some props saying that he's pretty much the fastest guy at the test track. And if you've heard AC comment on pretty much anything in the press conferences as far as practicing and training, he always says that Sexton is much faster than him. But racing is obviously very different. You know, there's some riders that are extremely good at practicing. I was one of them. And when it came to race day, you kind of sucked. It just kind of happened. Sexton is not quite there. Super good practicer, racer, he's getting better. You know, him being fastest qualifier is definitely a start. AC and Sexton went back and forth quite a bit about mid-moto of that first moto, but AC was able to come out on top. And I guess just transferring to AC, that second moto, all goes as planned. Pretty much almost gets the whole shot. I think Osborne was right there, but he pushed through. But, I mean, he got around Barsha fairly early and wasn't completely checking out. Barsha ended up going down bright and early in the moto. I guess bright and early, but you get what I'm saying. Early in the moto, which is the worst thing you can do because then everyone starts passing. And it sucks that there's only, well, it brings up a whole nother issue as how come you're only awarded points when you're top 20? It makes it seem like it's not that big of a deal to even be in the motos at a national, being fast 40. I personally wouldn't mind seeing that change. You know, maybe do they have to double the points where it's 50 points a moto as opposed to, you know, 25, so that the guy that's in 40th still makes points. Maybe change it to 30th to 40th, you just make 1 point, and then from, you know, I don't know, 29th to 20th, maybe you make 2 points or something, and maybe then divvy it up from there. You know, that is an idea. Let me know in the comments below if you think that should be something. But I mean, at a Supercross, everybody that is in the main event makes points. So why can't that be the same thing in Moto? Yeah, there's more people, but you get what I'm saying? Make it a little bit significance to it. And then you still give 2-digit numbers to the top 100 guys, not just guys that have made points being in top 20. You know, I could see the argument, but it'd be cool if it changed, you know. As opposed to just getting shit for pay, at least get some points, would make me feel a little bit better. Make you feel like you're grinding for something, for a purpose. This is kind of off topic. Ken Roczen sort of said that he was just getting his head back on straight. You know, maybe like there might not have been really something wrong with him besides him just being burnt out. Yeah, there's a little speculation there. There probably was overworking of something with Epstein-Barr or whatever virus. Rest does an amazing thing, but I'm pretty sure his mental aspect probably needed that as well. Speaking about mental, we're going to talk about Tomac. He was the second overall. We saw him shine with his quantum energy drive because it's just out of this world how he can turn it on and start kicking ass like he did that second moto. He was pretty much the only guy that was able to keep under a 214 or around a 214 the entire moto. This was a hot race, so you would think these guys would start dropping off. But Tomac didn't drop off. He stayed right there. You know, I'll put up a little thing about comparing his lap times between Moto 1 and Moto 2. You can see I'll highlight what lap was fastest, just comparing. And the average is he was over a second faster per lap than he was in the first moto. And you would think the second moto was drier, was more rough. It can make it difficult to go faster. But he was able to be an average of 1 second faster throughout the whole basically 35 minutes. It's crazy how he can do that. I want to know how he can do that. And is it conditions have to be right? Or
fired?
is it just one of those things that it's like a special ability? You know, if Tomac was a video game, you'd have to like have this bar go up before he can unleash it, and then all hell breaks loose.
Fired!
When he can do his special attack, his hero mode. But then kind of getting back to AC, him falling down right there with Marvin going on the outside of him, usually the bigger guy wins. And dude, I'm pretty sure AC has 20, maybe 30 pounds on Marvin, and the guy on the outside usually loses. I don't know how that happened. Being that hot, if you've ever raced a really hot, humid race, as soon as you stop moving and you're not in your groove anymore, dude, the heat just hits you. You're all sweaty. Your heart rate spikes just a little bit. It makes it very difficult to get back on the bike and have the same lap times as you were before. So he pretty much stayed right where he got up around that 7th. But he later said that his plate in his collarbone was hooked on something, so he pretty much was surviving. And that sounds painful. So if that's the truth, which I would assume it's the truth, why would these guys lie about what's going on? You know, nobody has any secrets. That sucks. Really sucks. And then the 250 class. Dylan, perfect weekend. Dude, if he didn't have some bad luck or some bad starts, he'd be way out front, just owning everybody in points. But because of some of the things that have happened, it's made things interesting, at least. You know, but not this weekend. Him getting fastest qualifier, go 1-1. There's really not much to talk about, but the dude just owned. I think he won by 17 seconds. The first moto, second moto, maybe 12, or I have to look back. Just is insane. I feel like those star racing Yamahas have a huge advantage being in the sand, because sand is very thick and you don't really need your brakes a lot in the sand. You can just let off and it'll slow you down. You don't really want to grab that front brake that often. It'd be interesting if those guys would release any sort of setups as far as, are they soft or stiffer? And Roczen was pretty cool how he hinted at some fork height settings in the sand, which I thought was cool. It'd be interesting if we could hear more of that stuff, because as privateers coming up and just riders coming up, interested in that type of information, as am I. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know if they're using a different ignition map. You know, obviously it's a factory ECU, so we're never going to be able to see it. But you know how stock bikes show up with, you've got a retarded setting, an aggressive setting, and like a fits-all setting? With it being slippery, do you think they might have been on that retarded setting? Just tamer setting, I guess, for you, those of you that just think I'm being weird and saying retarded. No, you know, retard the timing so that the bike isn't as abrasive. And Jet Lawrence. So, kind of going back to that first moto, Jet Lawrence, dude, on fire. I've been hearing some things that he's the dude that's staying on Honda. You know, the dude is coming into his own, real young kid. As long as he doesn't get hurt, he's gonna be winning a lot of races. Supercross, I have a different view. I feel like Supercross is getting so dangerous that we almost need to tame it down a little bit. But then at the same argument, if you tame it down, you're gonna have guys go faster. So that's a weird argument, debate that probably should be asked and addressed. And who knows, the powers that be might be talking about it. But this is motocross. Hampshire pretty much launches off the biggest jump on the track. Jumps off the bike in this massive endo. Did the bike cut out? I know it didn't, because it's a Husky. Huskies are fucking awesome. They don't cut out. But, I mean, if it did, that sucks. Could he have pulled the clutch in, maybe saved something? Or was it just a mistiming? Was it a kicker? Was it a cross rut? Was it just a misshift? I don't know how the dude freaking got back up, rode back to the pits. That bike looked mangled, but then came back out and was running inside the top 5 in Moto 2. That is insane. Absolutely insane. I bet the dude's going to be sore this week. And do you think that there's any team orders on those Yamahas? I mean, Langston hinted at it a couple times. Langston straight up said, dude, I've been in racing. I know how this is.
What do you think? If I'm team manager,
Yeah.
I'm telling Jet, you gotta let Jeremy by. I know people don't like that sometimes, but sorry folks, that's racing.
This one's for you. I know the commentators hinted at a little bit of team orders. Do you think that the Yamaha boys might have any sort of team orders to make life hard on you just because we're winding down here?
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, obviously, Dylan went 1-1 last weekend at Millville, and then he went 1-1 this weekend. So, I mean, there's no team orders on my side. Obviously, Jet. I was on Jet in the first moto, and then I couldn't get around him and my brother, or I think maybe it was my brother, but I couldn't get around Jet, and then Jet just got away. And yeah, he got second, I got third. So I don't think there's really any team orders from Geico, or there's any team orders from Star.
Thanks, Jeremy. I thought you wrote awesome. And my last question is for you.
Damn right, there's probably team orders going on. And it just looked like Shane was making life super, super difficult on Jeremy on that second moto for that third place. He probably had a little bit motivation as far as the team, but obviously motivation, you know, to make more than $800 and get on the podium, so he had a bonus. You know, that's some pretty good financial motivation, but there's also like a job motivation there, you know, and keeping the powers that be, whether it's your team owner, team manager, your agent, whatever, saying that you're willing to play ball so that you look good for more teams moving forward. I got to talk about Jordan Jarvis. Girl qualified 45th. She ended up 32nd in that second moto. It was an alternate. Some of the riders couldn't finish or didn't want to do second moto. Maybe they got hurt, or maybe it just an hour isn't a long enough stretch to recover in that kind of heat. You know, these guys, I'm assuming most of them don't have the ability to have IVs or anything to recover, or even ice baths. So for their own health, they probably shouldn't have gone back racing. So who takes? An alternate takes it, and it goes from like 1, 2, 3, 4, whoever wants to be on there. And she was able to do it. So power to her, you know, finished 38th overall because she didn't do anything that first moto. But that's still freaking awesome. And I guess since I'm always jumping around, speaking of kind of stuff, what do you think they're doing the hour between motos?
And this first one's for you. You guys only have an hour in between motos, and with it being so hot, what does your recovery look like? Do you just sit in water? I mean, how do you cool yourself off? What do you do to get yourself back in the game mentally and physically?
To be honest, the way I rode the first moto, I was more than willing to get back out there for the second moto, which is not a good thing, but that's kind of how I felt the whole season. I feel like I've left a little bit out there in the first moto, and I just need to be like more aggressive when it comes to that. It was like a freight train in the first moto, so I don't know. It was hard to definitely pass out there, but you got to make it happen in that situation. So it was pretty easy for me. I was ready to go for the second moto. I didn't really use much energy in the first one, so otherwise, if I rode like I should have, yeah, definitely would have been a little bit harder to turn it around like that. And but yeah, it was pretty easy for me to be honest. So hopefully it's a little bit harder in Colorado. Hopefully I give it a little bit more effort in the first moto.
Cool. The weather's supposed to be good there. It's not supposed to be snow, which is good for October.
I don't know, to recover. That's not a whole lot of time. When you go 35 minutes, balls to the wall, you have an hour to recover, and you got to go do it all over again. And you got guys like Tomac, you know, Osborne, and these guys that can come out swinging. You know, I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. I'm just saying. That's why these guys are the best in the world, because they're able to do that. And the Johnny Hobbs of the world, tail in between the leg, cry as to like, I'll do it next week. Don't make me do it again. And just because I'm on a rant here, Marvin, gnarly crash in qualifying. Did the dude go to the Asterisk Medical Station? Did he take that impact test again? See if he was okay? I know head injuries are gnarly. He looked like he smacked his head really hard. Would have been safe for him to be even on the track. Yes, I know financially and points-wise and team-wise, absolutely. You know, power to him for wanting to be out there. And as riders, we're never going to say, no, I can't go ride. I'm not, you know, we're not pussies. We'll do whatever we can. But that's why we have to have rules in place to protect us for the safety. So don't have anybody die out there with heat stroke and a head injury. So it'd be interesting if he had to go back and take that impact test and what the results were that, if he took it. I don't know. Anyway, this is Johnny Hopper. Brop! Brop! Shit, what time is it?